Hello everyone and welcome, my name's Ali A and today I've got a really important video for you guys that explains the latest update to Black Ops 2 multiplayer, filling you guys in with all the important details, showing you guys a side-by-side comparison as to how some of the guns have actually changed since the previous patch and the newest patch, and lots of information that you guys will really enjoy. I'm also going to be showing you guys actual in-game side-by-side comparisons of the guns and how they've been changed, so stay tuned towards the end for actual comparisons of the guns. So first of all, there have been loads of additional changes that I won't mention in this video because they're not very important, but you can have a look at them simply by looking in the description of this video if you wish to look into the patch details even more. The previous patch that we were on was 1.03 and the new patch is 1.04. It's currently live for everyone on PS3. It will be live for everyone on Xbox in a few days time as of the date of this video going up, and it will be up for the PC users in the near future. So some of the basic changes: the black hat equipment no longer hacks your teammates or enemy care packages quite as quickly as it used to, so you can no longer steal care packages quite as easily, and there's some other changes including theatre mode, care packages that will be included within the description. But moving on to these larger changes, all of these changes have been made with mathematical reasoning behind them. Treyarch have looked at graphs, they've looked at the usage of all of these equipments, score streaks and guns, and have decided to make these changes for a very good reason. They haven't just been done because they suddenly feel that something's overpowered. They've got maths behind it to back it up. So to start off with, score streaks, the UAV has been increased from 350 score to 425. Obviously they felt that there were too many UAVs being used, so that's why there's an increase in the score to get to the UAV. The lightning strike now has a 0.75 second delay between actually placing the markers on the iPad map and to actually having the strike being called in, so the enemies have a bit more time to adjust where they are positioned on the map and to get out the way of the lightning strike. In terms of equipment and grenades, the bouncing Betty now has an additional 0.2 second delay between the trigger going off and the actual Betty going up in the air and exploding, which I think is awesome. It did go off a little bit too quickly in the previous version. The center grenade has had an increase in terms of how good it is. It now has a larger range, a greater frequency, so it reaches a greater distance, and it lasts now for 6 seconds. I think this is a great increase since not many people use the sensor grenades, and giving it more of a reason to be used is definitely awesome. The concussion grenades have also been changed. Thankfully, you now have a greater movement speed and turning speed when you have been stunned. Beforehand, concussion grenades just crippled you and it was very hard to move or do anything once you'd been hit by these, so that's a very welcome change indeed. Before I move on to the side-by-side comparisons of the SMG and assault rifle changes, we're going to cover the sniper rifles, shotguns and pistols. In terms of the sniper rifles, the hip fire spread has been increased. You've got larger markers on screen, less likely to hit with no scopes, and this is the same when you've got the laser attachment sight on as well. And specifically the XPR50 sniper rifle, the last one you unlock, has slightly increased recoil now because it's a semi-automatic sniper rifle. Obviously it's being spammed a bit too much, so increasing that recoil will reduce that a little bit. The shotgun, specifically the R870, now has a reduced one-hit kill range. It's been reduced by 45 in-game inches, so you're going to be one-shotting from slightly less distances, which will probably be good news and maybe bad news for some of you guys if you use the shotguns a lot. And finally the pistols, the B23R burst fire pistol and the Cap 40 fully automatic pistol now has no multiplier on the headshot. So if you get a headshot, it's going to do the exact same amount of damage as if you hit them in the chest, which I feel is awesome, because no longer we run around a corner and somebody get a lucky burst of a B23R or a Cap to your head and kill you instantly. It's going to kill you slightly slower, so you're going to have more of a chance and those sidearms aren't going to be quite as powerful. So now we're going to be moving on to the fun part, all of the comparisons from the submachine gun and assault rifle changes. Keep an eye on the bottom right hand side of the screen to actually have a look at how all of the guns will react from the newest patch onward, which is what we're going to be using, patch 1.04. All of the submachine guns in terms of hip fire now have less accuracy and the hip fire spread is greater, and all of the submachine guns do less damage when shot through surfaces. The PDW has a far greater upwards and to the right recoil than it did before the newest patch, which is something to note looking in the bottom right there. Alongside the PDW having increased recoil, the MSMC has increased recoil. None of the other submachine guns do when aimed down sight, but as you can see, the MSMC looking in the bottom right has a slight more upward recoil, I'd say. Nothing too dramatic, nothing quite as much much as the PDW. I think the PDW has had more increase in terms of its recoil than the MSMC, but I wanted to show both of them side by side. Now moving on to the assault rifles. The only ones that have been changed are the FAL, the M8 and the SWAT, only when using select fire. You can see here that using the SWAT in the bottom right was far greater recoil than there was before the patch, so obviously they felt that the select fire attachment was a bit too overpowered, a bit too easy to control, and the FAL has a huge difference. If you look in the top left, you can see that it was almost zero recoil when using the select fire attachment. I used it a lot on my FAL. I was going to do a video showing off how good it was, but now that this change has been implemented, we'll have to see how things change, but you can see there's far greater upwards recoil now that the FAL has been changed while using select fire. And finally, the M8 with select fire. I always felt that this had quite a decent amount of recoil anyway before the patch, but obviously they've given it a little bit more just so that the select fire option isn't quite as powerful. It's also worth noting that all the assault rifles now has less idle sway when aiming down sight, which means that the sights don't move around quite as much, so it's easier to get those longer range kills when shooting at enemies at longer distances. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Took a while putting all of this together for you guys, but hopefully you found it useful. I really hope you've enjoyed. If you have done so, please hit that like button. It really helps me and shows me that you guys are enjoying and supporting the video. Check out any of my recent videos on screen here, and also keep up to date with all of my ongoings on both Facebook and Twitter as well. But a big thank you for watching, guys. Lots more content to bring you guys in the near future, so thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on my next video.